And we welcome you everyone to ISM Raceway as we get ready to go racing in the 5th race of the 4th season of the NNSCRA Duracell Cup Series. This place is formerly known as Phoenix International Raceway, but after the configuration change, putting the start-finish line on what was the back straightaway, and making turns 1 and 2 now 3 and 4, and vice versa, we are going to be going racing with the configuration that we have known and loved ever since really the start of the Duracell Cup Series. The big top story coming into this one is S3 Motorsports. In the past 3 seasons, an S3 Motorsports driver has gone to victory lane. J Shelton back in Season 1, K Mathews followed it up in Season 2, and Charles Sandfer got his first career win last year here at this very track. Now there is another driver out of their stables, last year's rookie, that is J Deaver. He is still looking for his first victory of the season. Can S3 Motorsports go 4 for 4, or can at least one of their 4 drivers make it 4 for 4 in an S3 Motorsports car pulling into the ISM Raceway victory lane? The highest starter out of their team here today is going to be Charles Sandfer. You can see him on the left side of your screen. He'll be from the outside of row 5. In the 10th position. On the pole for today's race is going to be the DCW Racing Toyota Camry of Cole Baker. Baker comes into this race kind of struggling just a little bit here in the first couple of races, but has picked it up since then. Had some pretty decent outings at Las Vegas and last week at Atlanta. He's now 12th in the points coming into this race and trying to knock on the door for a spot up inside of the top 10 in the standings. Alongside of him on the front row is going to be N Ormond. Ormond is really struggling this year. 36 drivers are chartered rides locked into the field every week, and N Ormond comes into this race currently 35th in the overall point stands. There's a number of drivers that are non-chartered machines that are ahead of him in the point stands that have made less starts than he has. So Ormond looking to bounce back here today at ISM with a good qualifying effort. Levi McIntire, who had that amazing save along with Charles Sandfer and Matthew Rodriguez last week at Atlanta, he's going to be rolling off from the 3rd position. Big gains in the stands last week, is now 4th in points coming to this one, and he'll start this race to the inside of J Gardner. Gardner is another driver out of Joanna Allen Motorsports that is struggling here at the start of the season. He is 34th in the point standings coming into this one, so both he and teammate N Ormond looking to bounce back here today. It's going to be 63 laps of racing. You can clearly see if you tuned into yesterday's non-charter event, the sun is shining brightly here. It's a lot lighter out, not nearly as much cloud cover as we had in yesterday's race. These drivers are going to be fighting an even slicker racetrack, and so that's going to make it interesting with 63 laps and a track that last couple of years has turned out to be a bit of a fuel strategy race, so we'll see if it's going to be the same in today's event. Let's go down trackside though, get those most famous words in motorsports.
Drivers, start your engines!
You can check down the description below for your full starting lineup for today's race. Drivers that come into this race currently locked into playoff spots would be T Wright, Ryan Butcher, and Dylan Young. They're locked in through wins. Chris Dallerton's also locked in, provided he makes 5 more starts after today. He's using up his 5th and final championship provisional. And your top 10 in points coming to this race are as follows. Michael Norman is now the new points leader, 2 points in hand over last week's Atlanta winner Dylan Young. Young's teammate Garcia, Adam Garcia, now up to 3rd. He's 6 points out. Levi McIntire right now in 4th. He's 12 points back. And Carson Gunn, who's going to roll off from 8th here today, he's 5th in the points, 18 points out. Rest of your top 10 the points are Jack Mitchell, Ryan Brommer, Benny Watson, Jose Millz, and Chris Dallerton. 31 points separate the top 10 in the standings coming into today's race at ISM. Cole Baker had 1 pole last season, has his first pole of the year here today at ISM, and he'll lead us to the green. Let's roll at ISM Raceway. See drivers down there on the apron. That is legal. You can go down there if you so choose, as we're almost 5 wide back here. Oh my goodness. That was Matt Haas, Michael Norman, Cole Deaver, Jack Mitchell. They settle it out to 3 wide. They're 4 wide further back. Oh, settle it out, guys. Holy cow, they're still 4 wide. Who is that way up on the top side going back? That's Jesse Turner. And somehow they all made it through. Look at this. 3 wide, several rows deep. Something's got to give as Vince Almariego got loose there in the center of 1 and 2. Dollerton almost up into Brad Stover. I don't know where to look. Jordan Lopez now going to settle it out double wide with Dylan Young. They're 3 wide further up there, though. That's Ryan Acosta looking to the inside of Patrick Smith. Johnny Gardner put up on the outside 3 wide. As Jacob Thibodeaux is going to clear this 3 wide battle up to the 5th position. Whoa, that was close. Nearly some contact there between Acosta and Mitchell down the back straightaway. Michael Norman, the points leader, going to get 2 for the price of 1 as he passes T Wright and Charles Sandfer. Trying to work his way further up to the top 10. Now he'll take Cody Llamas and Jack Mitchell 3 wide. Top 6 have gotten themselves single filed out as Nathan Ormond took the lead from Cole Baker. Levi McIntyre moved to 3rd, 4th for Mitchell Collins, and now Jacob Thibodeaux to 5th. Smith clears for 6th. Acosta now moves into 7th. So the top 7 single file as they're going to go 3 wide for 8th place. Gardner, Llamas, and Norman. Gardner on the outside line to turn 1 is going to hold the spot for the moment, leaving Llamas and, LaPlante rather. LaPlante and Norman to battle for that spot. That is for the 9th position. And caution, we've had a wreck just past the start-finish line on the front straightaway. I believe our non-charter event yesterday had its first and only caution come out on lap 5. And on lap 5 here today is going to be our first caution. It looks like maybe Cody Llamas may have been involved. Zach Rogers, lot of front-end damage on the number 6 machine. And Carter Friesen was in it as well. Friesen's got rear-end damage, so I can only assume that maybe the 6 ran into the back of the 37. Zach Rogers coming into this race is currently, if I can find his name on the list, 32nd in points. And Carter Friesen is 24th in the standings. Both of those drivers not the best of starts to the year. Both of them were in the playoffs last season. And as Rogers going to bring his car down to the attention of his crew, we're going to see pit road was open last time around, but the problem here is these drivers, when they come around and catch the pace car, they catch him coming out of turn 2, and by that point, they cannot get to pit road without probably getting a penalty of passing the pace car. So let's see if they come down pit road this time, and at least up at the front, no takers. So as Nathan Ormond shows the way here today at ISM, he'll be the one to get us back at the restart. Let's go back and see why we need that restart. Let's take a look at our first caution of today at ISM. Here it is coming out of turn 4, and I think we were almost 4 wide coming off of this turn. You see Carson Gum backs off of Matt Haas, and that car actually, I don't know what happened to Carson Gum, because that car seemed to lose power, lost a lot of speed. Carter Friesen gets into the back of him, then clips K Mathews, former winner here at ISM. And then the track's just going to get blocked up. Pedro Lucas, who's making his second start of the season, is going to get a piece right there. Jessica Shelton, she got involved there with the left front. Keith Batson's going to get a piece of it. Jesse Turner gets turned around. Matthew Rodriguez gets some damage. Watching the right side of your screen, there's Zach Rogers. He comes flying in into the back of Phil Parker. Charles Belding back there got punted by someone. William Brock may have gotten a little damage. Cody Llamas gets a piece right there as Friesen's trying to get his car turned around. There's last week's winner, the red and white machine on the top side, Dylan Young snaking his way through. Also Ryan Butcher there, the Gatorade car. He's sneaking his way through as well. So our past 2 weeks race winners able to snake their way through. Michael Roode, our non-charter winner, got through it as well. Natana Miedo, Mike Wiley, and all these guys that made it in through the non-charter race. I don't know who it was that got into the back of Charles Belding. Might have been maybe the 93 of Mike Wiley, but it didn't look like either the 93 nor the 91 really sustained a lot of damage. Drivers I'd really be worried about, though, is if they are going to be able to at least keep race pace. That 6 car, I think, might be out of the race already. Carter Friesen, a lot of damage. Phil Parker as well. Doesn't look like something like that would affect them that much, but you need as much downforce as possible when you're going through the slick, low banking turns here of ISM, and when your rear end is all pushed in, you don't really have a spoiler sticking out to catch the air. You are going to be at a low in terms of downforce going into those corners, so it's not going to help you as far as your speed at all. That's what brought out the caution for the first time here today at ISM. Let's go back for the green flag. We just got back in time for the green flag here as N Ormond gets us back underway on lap 10 of 63. Battle is on for second. Levi McIntire to the inside of Cole Baker, and we saw at the initial drop of the green flag, drivers going 3 wide all the way through the pack. Expect to see that again here with everybody being bunched up. Things will settle out the longer we get into a run based on what we saw in yesterday's non-charter event, but everyone trying to fight for every position possible as we nearly had a wreck back there inside the top 10. J Thibodeaux nearly went around off the nose of R Acosta coming off of turn 4. And we're going to go 3 wide maybe again with Acosta and Thibodeaux. This time it's Austin LaPlante on the inside line of that 3 wide situation. Need to update. Oh, well, I was going to update the drivers out of the race, but we're under caution again. Looks like this time it was something down to turn 1. And it's Charles Belding and the 91 smoking on the apron. And it looks like his day may be over. There's actually 2 clouds of smoke. There was one over heading into the entrance of turn 1, and then there's a long set of skid marks and smoke here on the back straightaway. I'm going to assume that maybe it was Belding here on the back straightaway, but there's V Almariego in the 42 on pit road as well with a lot of damage, so it may have been one of the drivers in one spot, one of the drivers in another, and who in the world was that? Was that the 2 of Dylan Young? No, it's the 09 of K Mathews involved in another incident. Let's not forget that K Mathews got damaged from the first incident, and I'm almost wondering if maybe he might have been slow on a restart here and someone may have gotten into him. But out of the race now are the cars of Zach Rogers, Charles Belding, William Brock, V Almariego. They've now put the 91 and the 42 in the garage. William Brock didn't realize he was involved in this. We're going to find out what happened to him. And K Mathews is just now called today as well. Chris Dollerton's a lap down in the 83, so we're going to have to check on all those drivers, see what it was that they were involved in here. Second caution of the day coming out as we have not even reached a third of the way through this race. Alright, so the incident on the back straightaway was actually Keith Batson. We'll look at that in a moment, but Batson's actually one that starts the wreck here on the front stretch as he gets into the left rear quarter panel of K Mathews. Gets down to Carter Friesen as well, and this could be one of the scariest rides I think I've seen a driver take at ISM ever since we've run the Duracell Cup Series here. Watch this. As Mathews going to come back up the track right in front of the 42 of V Almariego. He gets shot into the air. William Brock gets a piece there as well. And then, again, the track is blocked, much like it was before. Nowhere for some of these guys to go. That's Charles Belding back there getting into the 42. Mike Wiley, Cody Llamas, Ryan Butcher all collected up in this one. Matthew Rodriguez gets involved again. There's Adam Garcia. Oh, I think he may have run in the back of Matthew Rodriguez. I'm not sure. Michael Roode on the top side there. I think he got around all of this. Phil Parker, I didn't even see him. He was directly behind Ryan Butcher. Oh, yeah, Garcia got some front-end damage there in the 23. That's third in points coming into this race, by the way, folks. And K Mathews up and onto his lid. I mean, that was a shot. That was an absolute shot into the corner. And we're going to show you just how much of a shot it was. We're going to take an onboard here with the car that pretty much nailed him, and that was, of course, William Brock. Kind of a combination between V Almariego and William Brock that finishes off the 09. Let's take a look and see what happened, see if there was really anywhere that any of these guys could go. Easy answer, no, there wasn't. And then this was the smoke we saw off of turn 2 onto the back straightaway. Keith Batson, who had just caused that incident on the front stretch, he's going to get hooked around off the nose of Pedro Lucas. He gets sent down to the inside safer barrier. Pretty hard lick there, broadside with the right side of his Nathan's Hot Dogs Ford Mustang. As he goes into a long slide down the back straightaway, fortunately out of the racing groove. Everybody, all of the oncoming traffic, able to get past him, although there wasn't very much in terms of oncoming traffic. Most of the other traffic behind him were in junk heaps over on the front straightaway. But that happened after the caution came out, but it was still replay worthy. And now we get ready to go back for the restart, but no doubt about it, there's going to be much fewer cars taking the green to continue this race than there were to start this race, as we are working our second caution of the day at ISM. Field has hit the line. The lights have gone out atop the pace car. We are 1 to green as we are about a quarter of the way through today's event. Drivers out of the race. We basically saw it there live before we went back to the replay. K Mathews will not go 2 for 2 here at ISM, or he will not at least be a two-time winner here at ISM, I should say. V Almariego, William Brock, Charles Belding, and Zach Rogers also in the garage area. You see the 83 of Chris Dollerton 1 lap down. Went back to see if he got involved in anything. No. He came to pit road for a unscheduled pit stop under green flag conditions. Lost a lap as a result, and so he's going to have to try and get that lap back the hard way when we go back green. That car, to my knowledge, is, however, still up to speed. It's going to be Nathan Ormond, the race leader. Levi McIntyre now second. Cole Baker third. Mitchell Collins in fourth with Patrick Smith in fifth. Sixth is going to be Johnny Gardner. Michael Norman seventh rather. Eighth is going to be T Wright. Austin LaPlante and Ryan Acosta going to complete the top 10 as we are back racing here at ISM. Three wide for second as Dollerton did not get a good jump there on the restart, and he's going to stack them up behind him. Cole Baker going to push Dollerton down the back straightaway as he'll move into the second spot. They're 3 wide behind them for fifth. T Wright's going to make the move there, getting around Johnny Gardner and Patrick Smith. Now LaPlante down the inside, 3 wide, puts Michael Norman in the middle. Smith is going to the back and going quickly. And you see just how quickly he falls to the back. The reason for that, I don't know if you saw it there through 1 and 2, but I talked about already, top of the program, the fact the sun has been out a lot longer here today. Look at Johnny Gardner falling back there. Another case in point there for what I'm about to say. With the fact that it's so slick out there, there is no rip whatsoever in that third groove. You get kicked up there, you are going to be sliding, and that is going to cause you to lose a number of positions. And we saw it happen moments ago with Johnny Gardner, and we saw it happen before that with the 77 of Patrick Smith. Cole Baker, the pole sitter, now into second place. Remember, the 83 right now is not for position, as we had a couple other drivers on pit road for unscheduled stops. Matthew Rodriguez in the 57 just now returning to the track, and the 41 of Pedro Lucas. I'm almost wondering if some of these guys might have gotten some restart violations. As we are 3 wide back here, that's Charles Sandfer, the defending winner of this race. Putting the now lap machine of Matthew Rodriguez 3 wide. Jack Mitchell there as well. Sandfer right now is the highest run of the S3 Motorsports cars. Just now cracked the top 10 after starting this race from, I believe it was the 8th position. Oh, Lopez, the defending champ, way up the course there in 1 and 2. And they nearly took him 4 wide because of that. There's the other 2 S3 Motorsports cars that are still in this race. Cole Deaver, the Weedy Chevrolet, Jessica Shelton, the Kana-Chan TV Chevrolet. Right now they are running in the 20th and 22nd position. Still a long ways to go in this one, and no one has been to pit road yet, so fuel strategy could still be a factor in today's race. Looking here at the 80 of Brad Stover, who I believe is the highest running of our non-charter drivers. Remember last week finished runner-up in the photo finish to Dylan Young at Atlanta. It's the best finish so far this season by a rookie. And great momentum for that team. Not only here in the main event races, but over in the non-charter series as well. Yesterday finishing 3rd in that event to qualify into today's race. And he's really the only one of the non-charter drivers that hasn't been involved in an issue here today either. Michael Norman, Mitchell Collins, those two gonna battle. That is for 7th. And looks like Norman is going to clear and take the spot. Driver he's battling for the points lead, Dylan Young, see him quite a ways back around the 20th position. So Michael Norman, very consistent start to the year. Looks like for the moment he may be continuing to hold the points lead. There's T Wright, Daytona 500 winner this season. 18th in the points coming into this one, and in the past 3 seasons, our Daytona 500 winner has made it into the playoffs. So T Wright trying to make it 4 for 4, but he's got to keep that 28 car up inside of the top 30 in the standings. And let's not forget, T Wright does not want to think back to last year where he was dead last in the points at season's end. Right now in that 3rd position, though, running very well, as Austin LaPlante's going to make the move for 4th around Levi McIntire, who's starting to fade. And now LaPlante's teammate Jacob Thibodeaux going to go to work on Levi McIntire. Thibodeaux last week was the pole sitter for Atlanta, got caught up in that follow-up wreck after the first caution of the day, where we saw a number of drivers get collected up in that. Thibodeaux, as consequence, lost 9 spots in the standings last week, dropped to 15th. His teammate LaPlante, however, who had a top 5 run last week, jumped up 9 spots in points. He is 16th in the standings coming into this one. Well, we talked about the fact Chris Dollerton, after today, he's used up all of his championship provisionals. He's going to have to race his way into at least 5 more regular season races for his Manassas win to count towards a playoff spot. And not making the most of it here today. He struggled last week at Atlanta. He's struggling again here today at ISM. Right now, first car 1 lap down in the 34th position. Actually make that second car 1 lap down. Pedro Lucas is actually the first car 1 lap down. Nope. Correction. Lucas is actually 2 laps down. 36th. I thought he was only 1 lap down. And Nathan Ormond is gone. Nathan Ormond got his first career win as a rookie last season, driving for Joanna Atwood Motorsports. He took it at the Concrete Coliseum of Bristol. And right now looking for his second career win and first here of season 4. As T Wright's going to finally get around the lap machine of Chris Dollerton. Right now it is Dodge, Toyota, Ford, and Chevy, your top 4. How democratic is that? As Michael Norman to the inside of Jacob Thibodeaux. That is to 5th position for the Coors Light Ford Mustang. Levi McIntire trying to move to 6th, and there's Charles Sandfer looming. He's right there. Trying to keep the S3 Motorsports streak alive. 4 for 4. Can it happen? Some good runs for some of these other drivers back here. Just inside of the top 10, Ryan Brommer struggled last week at Atlanta. He's now 7th in points coming to this race. And Mitchell Collins, a lot of the young motorsports drivers have been doing really well this season. Dylan Young, Adam Garcia, 2nd and 3rd in points. Collins, on the other hand, finds himself 23rd in the points coming to this race. But he is the highest running of the young motorsports Mustangs here today. Jose Millz, 9th in points, right now in the 11th spot. J Qualls, 14th in the standings right now. He's currently in 12th. As a matter of fact, you've got 3 of the Joanna Atwood Motorsports cars up inside the top 15. Ormond leading this race, Qualls in 12th, and there's former champion Ryan Acosta in the 13th position, trying to hold off Patrick Smith. Now, one thing that we should talk about here, besides the fact that fuel strategy could start coming into play, is the potentiality of slower traffic. Nathan Ormond's been able to keep about a 1.3 second gap between himself and Cole Baker, but if he starts catching traffic in the wrong spot, that gap could close up very quickly. Right now, the closest driver to him just crossed the start-finish line. That is Adam Garcia. So about maybe a little more than a corner ahead of the 45 is the first slower machine, is T Wright. Well, that 28 car is good on the long run. He was able to get by Dollerton, he was able to get by Pedro Lucas, and now he's reeled in Cole Baker, and he's going to pass him for the 2nd position. T Wright has 3 career wins. He won back in Season 1 at the dirt track of Lakewood. Season 2, he won at Manassas. Went winless in Season 3, and then this year, started the season off with a trip to victory lane in the Daytona 500. As a matter of fact, you had a battle right there for second between two former Daytona 500 winners now, as Cole Baker took the Daytona 500 checkers back in Season 3. Or was it 2? Might have been 2. Austin LaPlante just moved into the third position here as well, so we're starting to see who's good on the long run, who's good on the short run. And I think right now it would be T Wright who's the fastest on the long run. I want to compare these lap times right now because even despite having to get through traffic, T Wright is running lap times similar to N Ormond. And we'll see now that he's gotten himself out in clean air if he'll be able to start chipping away at what now is a 1.6 second gap between himself and the Burger King Dodge Challenger is at the line. 26.330 for Ormond, 26.350 for T Wright. So a little bit slower for the 28 car. Now, I mentioned before, none of these drivers have come to pit road for tires and fuel outside of drivers that may have come down to get some damage repaired with the two cautions that we've had here in the early stages of this race. So nobody can make it 63 laps on what they started this race with. There is absolutely no way possible to save that much, I think. So when do you come to pit road? Do you try and short pit, get the fresher tires? Or do you run as long as you can on the possibility that there may end up being a caution and you can trap some of your competitors off the lead lap? I want to drop back a little bit further here because it's all single file right now. See if there's any battling going on towards the back of the pack, and there's a little bit of battling going on here. That's where we find Carter Friesen and Dylan Young. That's for 25th. Benny Watson right there in the 75 car. Mentioned him at the top of the program coming to this race, 8th in the point standings. Not the outing he was looking for. Dylan Young, 1 week after taking the checkers at Atlanta, mired back here as well. And I expected to see a lot more out of Michael Roode here today, because he took the checkered flag in yesterday's non-charter event, and he just nearly took out Ryan Butcher. As we got cars pitting, here we go. Phil Parker, Keith Batson, Cody Llamas, Patrick Smith, they're all on pit road. Smith pitting from the 14th position is the first one to begin the cycle of green flag pit stops. Ormond stays out. Does anybody back here come to pit road? Yes. Ryan Brommer, Jacob Thibodeaux, James Qualls, Mitchell Collins, there's Carson Gum, Natan Amiedo, Friesen, Turner, and I believe that's Michael Roode back there as well. Brommer pitting from the 9th position. Actually, make that the 8th position. So it is started. And here come more. Ormond is in. T Wright, Cole Baker, Cody Llamas, Michael Norman, Levi McIntyre, Sandfer, Haas, Acosta, Millz. Just about everybody else back there as well is on pit road. And I don't think that anybody else besides the 0-1 of Jack Mitchell stayed out that lap. So Mitchell's going to stretch it a little bit further. He'll probably be coming to pit road this time. Let's see what happens here then. We're going to have to compare the drivers that came in sooner to the drivers that came in later. Remember, N Ormond had a pretty big gap between himself and that second place battle. We'll see if maybe drivers like Ryan Brommer and Patrick Smith were able to pick up anything with coming to pit road sooner than the race leader did. Mitchell into his stall. You see T Wright getting service in the 28. Where is the 45? Drivers coming back out onto the track. There's Baker. Norman looks like he may have gained some spots, and he may actually be up to second place when this cycles around. Actually, hold on. Well, T Wright's actually slow. I think he may have had a slow pit stop. And he was running down N Ormond. Ormond scored in second. Where's Mitchell? I think the 0-1 has surrendered the race lead to the 45. I think maybe Michael Norman might be cycling around to the second position here. Actually, you know who the race leader is? It's Chris Dollerton. Dollerton in the 83, because remember, he came to pit road under the last caution because he was a lap down machine. Because he stayed out, he is the race leader by 10 seconds over Nathan Ormond. I don't think he can stretch it. I don't think that's possible. But we'll see. I mean, how uncanny would it be for Chris Dollerton, a non-charter driver, to be the first repeat winner of the season? He's still got 17 circuits to make here. Well, actually, it'll be 17 when he hits the line. When did we go back green? Lap 16 or something like that? So yeah, I think he would be still about 3 to 4 laps short of making it. As let's drop back here and take a look at this potential battle for second place, maybe for the race win. That's where you find Nathan Ormond. And remember, Ryan Brommer was one of the first drivers to pit road. He's now moved up to third. Michael Norman would be fourth. Fifth is Jacob Thibodeaux. Sixth, James Qualls. Seventh, Cole Baker. He lost some spots. Eighth is where you find Levi McIntyre. Ninth place is about to exchange hands. Charles Sandford to take it away from Jack Mitchell, who was, at least of the drivers that have come to pit road so far, the last driver to hit pit lane. So drop him back to 10th. Collins 11th. Lopez now 12th. 13th, Carson Gum, as Jose Millz slow on the track. Looks like he may have had to come back down pit road. I think some of these drivers got hit with a speeding penalty as well. Austin LaPlante, I think, got hit with a speeding penalty. I think Trey Wright got hit with a speeding penalty. Millz got hit with a speeding penalty. And unfortunately for these drivers, it's not a stop and go or a pass through. They are held in their pit stalls for 30 seconds, and that spells out a lot of time lost and usually the loss of a lap as well. 26.444 that last time by for Nathan Ormond. 26.254 for Ryan Brommer. He is catching Nathan Ormond. This is still the battle for second, as the 83 of Dollerton has not come to pit road. And the pace that's being set right now from second back through fifth, we could have 5 drivers up in the conversation for this win before all is said and done. These 5 drivers right here, Ormond, Brommer, Norman, Thibodeaux, and Qualls, we know they can make it on fuel. We're still waiting to see what's going on here with the 83. Is he maybe saving? He's still got 10 seconds between himself and Ormond. Can he save enough? Right now he's got a lot of traffic around him. Michael Roode trying to unlap himself. Pedro Lucas right there as well. And you can see Dollerton's backing his pace down. I'm not sure he has much of a choice. Those tires are probably worn to the cords. But he could be also just backing his pace down here to make sure he can make it the rest of the way on fuel. That time, though, the gap was really cut down. It's now 9.3 seconds back to Nathan Ormond, who himself is going to have to deal with traffic before he gets up there to Dollerton. Should Dollerton not pit, he's got Trey Wright, Matthew Rodriguez, Cody Llamas, and Ryan Butcher that he's going to have to get around before he can concentrate on the 83. And he may have bigger things to worry about, because now it's only about 4 or 5 car lengths back to Ryan Brommer in this battle for second place. In the last 2 years, Bulldog Motorsports has put both of his entries into the playoffs. Brommer and Rogers both made the Final Four back in Season 2. Both cars were eliminated back in the first round last season. But Ryan Brommer trying to make sure Bulldog Motorsports is represented in the playoffs this season. And out of the 2 drivers, between himself and Zach Rogers, Brommer has been the more consistent here in the first 4 races. 7th in the points coming into this one. And he is closing very quickly on Nathan Ormond. This is the closest we've seen someone make a challenge on Nathan Ormond since we went back green on our second restart. And it's now closing on 8 seconds. These two, their gap to Chris Dollerton, as Dollerton that last time by hitting the line now has 9 laps to go if he can make it the rest of the way. And he can't. Dollerton is in. So this is the battle for the win here between the 45 and the 9. Unless Norman, Thibodeaux, and Qualls can get up here and say something about it as well. There's going to be traffic to deal with here for Nathan Ormond. Trey Wright in the 28 is up to speed, but he was hit with a speeding penalty. So he's going to do the best he can to try and hold these drivers off, keep himself at least one lap down. I believe he is only one down. No, actually, he's on the lead lap, as is Matthew Rodriguez. So the 57, the 28, they're going to be battling hard to keep these guys behind him. And this could very well bring Michael Norman and Jacob Thibodeaux into the conversation as Ormond moves to the inside of T Wright. Brommer's going to move up to the outside line, try to push the 28 back onto the tail end of the lead lap and take the lead himself. Or maybe try and drive it deep into the corner. Ooh, he almost got in the back there of T Wright as Ormond pushes up the track. Oh, all four of these cars push up the track because of the fact that Matthew Rodriguez was coming to pit road. That's going to lose them a lot of momentum. That's going to lose Nathan Ormond the lead. Here comes Norman. Here comes Thibodeaux with a full head of steam. And it's 6 laps to go here at ISM. It looks like the streak will come to an end at 3 races in a row for S3 Motorsports. Charles Sandfer is back there in 7th, but he's got a lot of ground to make up in about 5.5 laps. As look at this, Ryan Brommer trying to get around T Wright, moving him out of the way. He realizes that Nathan Ormond could have a car to challenge back for this top position, and he wants to put a lap machine between himself and the 45. Michael Norman right there, Jacob Thibodeaux, J Qualls. If these guys continue to race, they may have a shot here in the closing stages. Brommer will clear for the top spot. Ormond trying to clear T Wright, has not done it yet off of turn 2. Got another car on pit road. That would be an unscheduled stop here as we are closing in to the end of this race. At the line, 4 laps to go at ISM. It's Ryan Brommer out in front. Nathan Ormond in second. Norman in third as he's now trying to get to the inside of the lap machine of T Wright. Levi McIntyre is now latched onto these top 5 as well, so 6 drivers up in this lead group. Norman's going to make very quick work of T Wright. T Wright now getting out of the way of these race leaders. He did the best he could to stay on the lead lap, was unsuccessful. That was Pedro Lucas in the 41, by the way, on that unscheduled pit stop. Actually, it wasn't unscheduled. I think he actually did come down pit road to have enough fuel to get to the end. As now Thibodeaux looks to the inside of Michael Norman. That's going to be for 3rd place. J Qualls right there as well in the 5th spot, looking to see if he can move up to 4th, maybe 3rd. Levi McIntyre making his way around teammate T Wright as he's into the 6th position, hunting for a top 5. 2 laps to go here at ISM. The gap about half a second from Ryan Brommer back to Nathan Ormond. Couple of challengers showing the way here at ISM. It would be the first time that a manufacturer other than a Chevy Bowtie will have gone to victory lane here in the Duracell Cup Series at ISM. As Ryan Brommer, off turn 4, we'll see the white flag in the flagman's hands. 1 lap to go. Thibodeaux is going to take 3rd position away from Michael Norman. Question is, how many more spots is Norman going to lose? As J Qualls now looks for 4th. McIntyre looks to drop Norman outside of the top 5. The gap continues half a second. That equals out to about 4 car lengths down the back straightaway. Ormond nowhere within striking distance. Ryan Brommer off turn 4 is going to win the Fan Shield 500 at ISM Raceway. And if we're going to go back to the race-winning move, pit road is where it happened. Ryan Brommer came to pit lane 2 laps sooner than Nathan Ormond did, and those fresher tires helped him on his out lap to cut the gap up between himself and Nathan Ormond. He was able to get around Ormond, and Ormond had no answer for the driver of the Bang Energy Dodge Challenger. And if I recall correctly, Ryan Brommer hit pit road from the 8th position. So that shows you just how many spots he picked up with that pit road strategy of coming to pit road earlier than everybody else. Patrick Smith was the first car to pit road. I think he came down from 14th and he finished 10th. So this is exactly what ISM is all about, a tire wear racetrack. And if you short pit, usually if it stays green, you are going to gain positions, and Ryan Brommer gained the most important position today, finishing P1 and locking himself up a spot in the playoffs for what will be, I believe, the 3rd straight season. He may have made the playoffs back in Season 1. so he may now be 4 for 4 in appearing in the postseason. N Ormond so close here as he led pretty much the majority of this race ever since the drop of the green flag, but he'll have to settle for bridesmaid in second. J Thibodeaux brings it home in third. Fourth place for J Qualls, a great run for him. And Michael Norman is going to finish in the 5th position, so he will keep the points lead going into Bristol next week. Rest of the top 10, Levi McIntyre, Charles Sandfer so close in making it 4 for 4 here in the Duracell Cup Series of an S3 Motorsports going to victory lane, but he'll have to settle for a top 10 in 7th. Mitchell Collins there in 8th. Jack Mitchell will finish in 9th, and Patrick Smith is going to complete the top 10. Baker started on the pole. He'll get 11th. 12th for Jordan Lopez. Highest finishing non-charter driver, Brad Stover, will finish in 13th. 14th will be Carson Gum. Another non-charter driver, Nathan Omiedo, finishes 15th. Dylan Young, we saw him outside the top 20. He was able to battle back up into the top 20 for a 16th place run. Ryan Acosta, Benny Watson, Johnny Gardner, and Phil Parker completed your top 20. A lot of drivers got busted for speeding here on those round of green flag pit stops. Those drivers included T Wright, J Millz, Austin LaPlante, M Haas, Carter Friesen, Mike Wiley as well. They all ended up finishing one lap down as 26 cars finished on the lead lap. 5 drivers out of the race after our 2 early cautions: K Mathews, V Almariego, William Brock, Charles Belding, and Zach Rogers. So a Bulldog Motorsports car on either end of the standings. Rogers dead last, but his teammate R Brommer goes to victory lane here today for the first time this season. As mentioned, next week, we're going to be going to the last great Coliseum. It's going to be short track racing at Bristol Motor Speedway. That is going to be a crazy one. We'll kick things off with the non-charter race and, of course, the main event, the Food City 500. But thanks, everyone, for tuning in today's race from ISM. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give us a like, subscribe to become part of the crew today. We have shown you full finger results, and these are what your point standings look like heading into Bristol Motor Speedway next week. Thanks for tuning in. Until then, I've been Seth Cole. You've been watching a production of the NCRA Offline Racing at its best.